Hello, everybody, and welcome to Little Legends Podcast, episode number 35. I am your host, Blevins. Joining me, as always, is Boop. What's up, buddy?
What's up, man? It's been a week full of TFT and Valorant.
I was gonna say if we're weighting that in order, it's been a week full of Valorant playing and TFT news.
Probably for a lot of people listening too. I'm sure everyone who got a beta key during the mysterious drops of Valorant definitely tried it out. It's a tough game, but man,
what about it was mysterious? I thought it was pretty straightforward how the drops worked.
Oh, it was you had to type as much as possible and ask as many questions as possible on how to get a drop.
Oh, wait, did people not know that you have to put exclamation point key in chat to do
it? One of my favorite things I saw was when someone was like, I know this isn't TFT related, but I think this is just a funny streamer thing. I was in a moderately popular stream. There was like 800 people in it at the time, and someone just types, "Oh my god, I just subscribed and got a key," and then like 15 people ended up subscribing, and then the streamer was like, "What do I do? Like, do I refund them the money, or do I keep them?" Like, what is the correct play here?
Right.
And it was just funny, that whole situation. Like, man, people were ravenous when it came to it. But I have to say, after playing some Valorant, it feels so good to play TFT as like that, like decompression. Like, oh my god, I'm not, hyper focused on this corner for like the last 45 seconds, and I'm gonna miss my shots anyway. I have so much more control over my TFT game.
That's true. My aim in TFT is just right. It doesn't need to be better than it already is.
It's about at 98%. I still will get XP instead of reroll sometimes.
That is true. I do that as well. I also am the slowest roll downer of all time.
And the worst scouter.
And the worst. Well, I wouldn't say the worst scouter, because that implies that I scout at all. That implies that there's at least some level of it, which there isn't.
You can't be called a scout at that point, right? You're just
exactly.
You're just vibing. You're vibing with your board and getting to know your units and learning their dances. It's all good.
Yes, that is true. So we've got, as you may expect, if you are tuning into a Teamfight Tactics podcast, you're probably at least in tune with the news a little bit. But if you're not, well, have I got a treat for you, because we not only have the 10.8 patch to talk about, we've also got the official word about TFT sports.
Nice.
So you gotta like put the T and then give it like a little hook to make it start the E.
Is that a portmanteau? Is that what that is?
Gesundheit. Am I offended? But before we get into all of that, of course, we are a prediction esports podcast. PREDICTION on Spotify and iTunes. Make sure you're subscribing there. It does help us out a ton. Leave a review, and that will make us all very, very happy. Of course, guys know that we are doing game nights on Fridays. You can join the Discord, discord.me/Little Legends Podcast, if you want to play in the game nights. And if you want to watch, if you just want to watch and experience and get it all in, twitch.tv/GiantSlayerTV on Fridays. And I am pleased, Boop and I are both pleased to say that we had our first week where we had 2 full lobbies from the get-go.
So cool.
Finally
like,
happened.
I cannot express, 16 people might not seem like a lot to you, but for me, having 2 full lobbies, and sometimes with more people just like hanging out, right?
Yeah.
Members came in.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Bemmy
is a floater.
Like hello, and it's people are just chilling, and we're all hanging out over our common love of TFT, and we're so excited that people are interested in playing with us and hanging out with us. Though it is really funny, there have been some lobby 1/lobby 2 dynamics already.
I would say engineered perhaps exclusively by you.
Yeah.
We
We're
got
taking
Kumbayad.
yeah, it's the new like Zoom bombing. You just go into someone's chat and sing Kumbaya together and break Discord.
Oh boy,
Which sounded
that
like that's what
really
happened.
did break. It was it sounded awful. I gotta say, it
Yeah,
sounded
because like
really bad.
and everyone is singing at like a different spot in the song at the same time, which is like the
Because of the
for
delay.
me, which was the best part because before we went up there, I was like, guys, they're on stream. They just got hosted.
That's
Right?
true. We did.
Yeah, we need to do something. We've got to mess with them somehow. And then it's actually really funny too because we were like, lobby 2, right? And it's like we were like the caste system, and so I was like, I can't wait till there's a lobby 3 so we can feel superior over them. And um, it was like the little rascals in a lobby. It was so funny, and everyone's
It
audio
was
was
very
so
funny.
loud and ear shattering, and I don't know why that made it so much better for
Yeah.
everybody. Poor Tap Out, like one of the a new regular
Yeah.
to the game nights, but man, he definitely was the antithesis person.
Well, it was
But
hilarious.
go ahead.
It was hilarious because Tap Out has this like super deep voice, and like I've got like kind of a deep
No,
voice.
he's got
He
a
comes
voice, man.
after the Kumbaya thing, like a minute. We're like laughing, and then you guys go back, and he comes back, and he's like,
Yeah, so I just want to point out that wasn't my idea. I just wanted to let you guys know that.
I'm like, I would put any amount of money down that was Boop's idea, and of course
6
here we
figures.
are.
Yeah. And but the lobby 2 spirit took over, and he built
Yeah.
infiltrator talents on Malphite and got second. So
Yeah.
I also want to talk about that when we talk about our weeks in
Okay.
TFT in a second, because it kind of blew my mind.
We'll do that in just a second. I just wanted to say that if that's the type of zany wackiness that you are intrigued by, discord.me/Little Legends Podcast is the place to go. It's a good time. I think at some point, if we get enough people, like we can break it down. We're like, if you really want to play competitively, like it's lobby this. Maybe it probably won't. If it needs to get like that, we will, because some people just don't want to do wacky stuff, and I'm more of the like, let's just do whatever. But if we want to break it down, we can break it up into different lobbies. That's not a problem. We'll just go with it. We'll see what works. But yes, Boop, let's talk about what we did in our weeks, and I'll let you start because you were chomping at the bit here.
So, Tap Out had a brawler, I think it was a brawler Jinx comp, and then got infiltrator talons, I believe, on Kane. And he, because we were playing wacky game at that time, and just so everyone knows, the wacky games when you pick a unit and you have to make that unit as your carry. So everyone was building some weird stuff. So I don't know how accurate this would be in a regular game, but this really cool interaction happened. So it was a tier 3 Malphite, jumped into the back corner and took the attention of one of the carries and like 3 other people to that Malphite. So Malphite was tanking in the back corner.
Yeah.
And then when Misfortune ulted, since Malphite was taking
They were all
of that
grouped
aggro,
up.
they were all grouped up in the corner for Misfortune's ultimate to shred them apart. He still lost, but I don't think it was because of the Malphite. I actually think like it got to the point where we were all like, wait a second. You know what I mean? Like, is this just funny or is this a thing? Kind of like the Rabadons and
I was just saying the AP,
right?
the AP Jarvan, yeah.
But this was like,
or attack speed Soraka.
But what it would only work if it was rank tier 3, because the health Malphite gets at that point is nuts.
Yeah, you're like
especially
unkillable.
with brawler buff, and so he was just able to tank 4 people's damage, and all he needed to do was wait until Misfortune ulted. If he died before Misfortune ulted, it was over. But since he was so tanky, so I think if you put like infiltrators and like warmogs and titans on him, like he
probably put it on like Xin Zhao or something. Like put infiltrator on Xin Zhao.
Yeah, and so like the other cool thing
Could be a
was
thing.
is he actually puts out a good amount of damage too,
Hmm.
right? It wasn't like
Well, he gets the attack speed buff from Infiltrator.
he
So.
gets the attack speed buff, and he was putting out like third and fourth most amount of damage
Wow.
at that time. So like there was a point where he jumped to the back right corner, and there's a stacked Sona there, and
Yeah.
he just killed her.
Wow.
Like that
Wow.
corner unit goes and turns and focuses.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like the opposite. It's kind of like a Viold at that point
Yeah.
in time then. Right? So he goes and jumps to the corner just like Vi would and take aggro from that person.
Huh. Interesting.
So I thought it was pretty cool. And I think the way that the interaction between that Misfortune and that Malphite worked was I saw like a 5-person Misfortune ult go off and just Malphite just sitting there taking all that.
That's super interesting.
Aggro.
The like Infiltrator tank.
Yeah,
like,
right?
Huh.
Exactly.
Now, now I'm
makes
intrigued.
sense. I know. I really think, and like memes aside, Rabbit on the Jarvan doesn't work. But
I mean, it does work. It's just not good.
This actually was something where, like, memes aside, I think is worth exploring a little bit more.
I mean,
so
the thing that comes to mind for me is Xin Zhao, right? Like, because he's super tanky. He's already like a damage dealer, but he's like the slow. And if you can, like, you already want him to aggro, but he's attacking like tanks in the front line. So I don't know. It's super interesting. I'm actually like, I'm legitimately intrigued right now.
yeah, because like you think Infiltrator, you think Assassin, and you think damage, right?
Right.
But when you kind of think about it as position as opposed to damage, and then you think about it as utility, you're and every character benefits from attack speed. Right. So it's not like that's yes, it would be better on someone else, but it's not like that metric is wasted on someone like Malphite.
Right. It's not like giving him mana. Right.
Yeah, exactly. Or putting like a Rage Blade on someone who, doesn't need it.
Right.
Or like a Rabadon on someone who doesn't have any AP. Right. It's it like totally worked. It was so interesting, and you can move that Malphite wherever you need to get that aggro going. So you can actually like next level position
Zephyr.
Misfortune ultimate.
No one's playing around that, by the way.
No, not at all.
I'm super intrigued right now.
And the other thing is like it forced the opponent to reposition because their carry kept attacking this Malphite that wasn't dying. So all of that DPS was going on exactly who you wanted it to.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like a guess like. And the other thing about it, since it's in the back line already, it's already in a good spot once that unit dies, if he does kill that unit, to continue tanking the front line. Right? It's pretty. It's interesting.
Because like normally it would be doing all of its damage would just be on the enemy's front line, which is like, okay, whatever. You're never killing anything with the Malphite. It's just there to absorb. But if it gets in the back line, the damage that it's doing is actually relevant. Huh.
Yeah.
My gears are spinning right now. Maybe it's awful, but I'm curious. I would love to hear like what Mort thinks about that. Like, I wonder if that's something, because like that's the type of thing that like that Mort would try, but he wouldn't tell people, because it's like that's the type of thing you want people to figure out, right? Like, that's the cool thing. You don't want to like do the patch rundown and be like, okay guys, play this comp, this comp, and this comp, and let me tell you, here's the secret comp that you guys don't know about. Here it is. It's like, no, you want the community to figure that out and try stuff.
I always wonder if like whenever they're like, I swear to God, guys, this isn't the most powerful comp, if they're like running numbers in-house and being like, they have a comp there that they know is stronger, but they just can't say anything.
I think a lot of times that there is, because the only reason that he said it was because they were changing it, but he was like, yeah, people are sleeping on Void Sorks right now. Like, it's actually the most broken thing. And then like I joined a viewer game and immediately played it and got first. And he was like, Blevins, did you just play the thing that I said was broken? And I just go smile and chat.
Yeah.
But
the hard part is you have to get infiltrated. Like the
right. It's not easy to replicate necessarily.
No, but if you find yourself in that position, it might be okay to like pick up a tank and put the infiltrator there, especially if you're running brawlers.
Well, you can do that, or you can do the inverse and like, let's see, who would be the tankiest? Maybe like Shaco, like just put like Warmogs on just Fizz, like not even mech. Like
And
put
just take
all
aggro. It's all about just taking aggro.
right. Like how often do you see a Fizz in the game but him not be a mech? Like how many times have you seen Fizz jump? Like infiltrator jump? Ask yourself that question, because I don't know how many it is for me. It's not a lot.
Nope.
Because he's almost always the last. Almost always the last piece that you need for the mech. And if you're running infiltrators, you're almost always running the mech, right? So interesting. I'm intrigued right now.
What about you? How was your week?
My week was good. Again, super. I've been super focused on Valorant. From a playing side. For those asking, still nothing to announce in regards to whether I am or am not doing a Valorant podcast. I've got nothing to announce there. But I've been having a lot of fun playing it. I wasn't sure if I was going to. Because I always liked CS:GO, but I would only play gun game and deathmatch. Like I think the number of actual the bomb plant game or whatever you would call it in CS:GO, I think I've maybe played 5 total games of that ever, like total, and never with a group. So I would just play gun game and deathmatch, which are like my favorite things. And obviously Valorant right now doesn't have that, so I'm like, I don't know if I'm gonna like this game or not. But it's been a blast. Like I've played exclusively 5 stacks, with friends and friends of friends, which has just been great. I imagine I would be having a lot of fun if I was playing 5 stacks with friends and friends of friends, almost regardless of the game. But it's been a lot of fun, and I feel like in the last however many days it's been out, I feel like I've learned so much, and I feel like so much better than I did on the first 2 days.
Same.
I'm
getting positive KDAs now.
I am slowly getting more positive KDAs, which is nice, or at least zeros, which I am. My win rate when I have a positive KDA, I believe, still is 100%, which just shows that I'm getting carried all the time. But I'm fine with that. So yeah, been having a lot of fun there. I have played some TFT, not as much as I would have liked, but I've been playing Mech Infiltrators. I've played the Yasuo Yi comp, colloquially referred to as the Bang Bros comp. And if you're looking to find more about that comp, go to No, I'm not even gonna make that joke, because someone might actually do it and be mad at me for saying that. So, so yeah, it's been good. I am still really liking where how set 3 has been going. I personally like playing all of the galaxies, Lilac, Nico, Medium Legend. I even like Medium Legends, which a lot of people don't like. I personally do like it. I find it fun. I find it it's different enough where okay, now I know I just need to play a comp that gets to level 9, and I can 3-star more things, and that's fun for me. A lot of people don't seem to like it, but whatever. I don't care. We're getting new ones too, so we'll be talking about those in a bit. And actually, let's jump into it right now. Let's talk about some patch notes for 10.8. We'll start it off, as we always do, by reading the intro. Welcome, Mech Pilots. It's patch 10.8, y'all. We've got some stuff to talk about.
You were looking forward to that. Okay, sorry.
I'm so happy.
I had a 5 o'clock coffee, and so I'm wired.
I opted out of the 5 o'clock coffee, so I'm not wired, but I still got
my
to say
I can actually feel my heart beating right now.
That's
so
probably not a good sign, but okay.
Nope. Okay.
It's patch 10.8, y'all. We've got some stuff to talk about. First off, a brand new legendary champion, Xerath, is here, ready to cap off your Dark Star and Sorcerer comps. The late game carry drops meteors all over the battlefield, which get additional power from killing enemies. We're also adding 2 new galaxies, the Trade Sector and Super Dense, Trade Sector will give you the opportunity to reroll your shop once per round for free. In a super dense galaxy, you'll get a free Force of Nature at level 5. In the land of balance adjustments, we're sticking to our theme of buffing the weak over nerfing the strong. The big highlights include buffs to underwhelming Tier 4 champions Wukong and Soraka, and nerfs to the Super Mech and Shaco. Let's get into it. So, we've got some stuff. Boop, you want to start?
You want to talk about the galaxies first?
Yeah, let's talk about the galaxy. So, Trade Sector, you get a free reroll every round. Seems good
For those addicts like me.
for the addicts and for any comp that wants to slow roll.
Yeah, slow rolling and or if you just like rolling, right? Sometimes you just get lucky and roll in all units you need, right?
Sure.
And this will help you do it. And basically, it's giving the way I kind of think about this is it's giving everyone 2 packs around, and how that's going to at least, right? And
Right.
how that's gonna maybe cause hyper rolling or other
Yeah.
types of situations, right? Because if you, it's just a free roll, right? So you get
Get a lot more
2 rolls
looks.
each time, right? So the third one is going to be more economically feasible than before, and so you might be able to roll more often with less cost on there,
Right.
and you can slow roll. And in a game, you just kind of want to see what options you have,
Right.
right? And like maybe your first pack is 5 different units, or maybe your first pack is 2 Graveses, and
Right.
and something else. You're not like, I don't really want to do this right now,
Right.
right? And you just re-roll, and then sometimes that pack will have 4 Graves second, and then you know what? The world is telling me to play Pirates.
Yeah.
Or you're a lot more flexible in what you can do every single turn, and it's going to be really interesting how people deal with that extra economy that they technically have because they're not using that 2 gold at that point in time. Because think about all the times you're sitting at 38 gold because
Yeah.
maybe you re-rolled a couple of times too many beforehand. Now you're going to be able to circumnavigate that a little bit more.
Right.
And we're probably going to see a lot more 3-star units is what I would assume.
Yes, because you're going to be able to slowly bank up your extra units over the course of rounds. I don't know if it's going to give you extra economy because you are going to be seeing more stuff, and I think you're going to be more likely to like buy more stuff because it's like, oh, I rolled, and I saw that extra Graves.
Like,
Okay.
I think about re-rolling and never buying anything because what I need never shows up. But you're
Right.
right. Like the actual buying of the units does cost money.
Your economy is probably not going to be better, but the boards across the game are definitely going to be better. That's one thing. Early boards are going to be strong because people are going to be getting 2 stars much quicker. That's a big thing. So win streaking is going to be tougher because there's going to be on average more people are going to be getting 2 stars than normal. So unless you get a very, very strong board, you're less likely to.
Yep, you get 6 packs before the first PvP round.
Right.
Okay? That is more than enough to 2-star a couple units. Or decide to push to the next level.
Right.
If you kind of see that happening, so you could put more 2 stars in.
Yeah.
Really interesting. It's so funny because none of us thought of this as a galaxy, but is a very obvious one now that I read it. Right, like affecting rerolls.
Yeah.
I'm excited for this one.
The other thing that this is going to do is, and which is bad for me, is it's going to massively reward scouting. Because if people are buying more because they're hitting more of their 2 stars, they're going to be maybe going for their 3 stars because they get those free rolls and they're slow rolling. You're going to be getting extra packs to get the stuff that you need, and so are your opponents. But if the stuff that you need is not the same stuff that everyone else needs, then your stuff's going to get rolled right in more often. Although that doesn't change. But like they're going to be taking stuff out that they want, and you're going to be getting. So if you're open, you are golden. Like if you're the only, Star Guardian player, you're going to be getting a lot more rolls to get those, especially like the Star Guardians, the Blade Master comp, the Cybernetics comps. Like if you're one of the only players doing those, because they like get to a level and then they slow roll. They don't necessarily hyper roll. I do think that this will lead you to want to hyper roll more, and it
But
might
could
force
totally
you to hyper
evade.
roll. It might force you to hyper roll more because if you're like playing, like if you are going something and someone else is going it, you might have to hyper roll early because they're going to get free every turn that goes by. They're going to be getting not just the base roll, but an extra one to take those units from you. So you might be forced to hyper roll more often. So I think it seems super straightforward, and it is super straightforward, but I think it does add a lot of complexities to the game. And it's also just fun. Like you said, I just want to roll. I want to see more stuff.
Rolling is like the best part of the game.
Yes.
At least for me, right?
For me, as a
Man,
degenerate gambler, it is the most fun.
I know, right? Don't ever take me to Vegas.
Uh,
But the other thing, it's so funny because you said complexity, but my mind actually went, this will be really friendly to beginners too.
well,
Right?
I think it's both.
Yeah, because their mistakes are going to be forgiven more often.
Yes.
Right? Because you can just re-roll the pack. And I
Mhm.
think re-rolling too much is one of the biggest mistakes beginners make.
Yes.
I mean, honestly, that a lot of people make, not just
Yes.
beginners.
It is definitely a big
Yeah, and so
one.
this is going to be a little bit more forgiving, but
Mhm.
you definitely brought up something that I didn't really think about is the fact that since you're rolling so much, the pools are going to be much smaller, much earlier,
Mhm.
and how that's going to make the tempo of the game, I think, faster because when you upgrade the units, they do more damage, right?
Mhm.
So, um,
Didn't they?
we'll
They don't know. They
see.
changed that.
Oh no,
didn't
they
they?
changed
Yeah,
that.
they
They
changed it,
changed
and
that.
then yeah. So,
But
you are going to be
still.
losing. You're going to be losing by a wider margin, and therefore going to be taking more damage if you're weak.
Yeah.
So lose streaking
overall, I'm
probably gets
excited
a
for
little
this
bit
one.
worse, unless you can lose streak by the narrowest of margins. But yeah, I think that's a very exciting one. And then super dense galaxy. I'm not sure how I feel about this one. So it's level 5, but then you'll have 6 units. So basically, your like 3-star 2-cost unit comps are going to be good because you don't necessarily need to go to level 6
This
because
will
you're pretty
help,
powerful.
I think, early game comps really well.
Yeah.
Right? Comps that kind of you depend on developing a lead early on because you're going to peter out a little later for top 4. And so
Right.
maybe that'll help. But this one's a little interesting. It kind of seems to me that they're like, okay, we've got to do something with force of nature. But
Yeah.
how are we going to do it?
It's also like something like Star Guardians and Cybernetics, which are essentially like you really just want the six of it, Dark Stars.
Mhm.
That helps because you can get the space. Like getting the units themselves isn't necessarily the hardest part, especially for Star Guardians because there's only 1 4 cost. So you can get the space to put them all in much easier, and you can level to 6, and then like Star Guardians generally wants to have 7 units in, but doesn't need to
Yeah.
be level 7 in order to hit the
Yep.
unit.
Same thing
Unlike
with
unlike
Celestial Sniper.
yes, Cybernetics you do actually need to hit 8 because you actually need to hit the Echo, which is not even possible to get at 5 or 6. So doesn't actually help Cybernetics, so scratch that one. But it does help. Yeah, Celestial Sniper. It also helps Mechs, Darkstar. It helps and Star Guardians as well. So very interesting. Very
any of those reaches that don't necessarily need a 5-cost unit
right.
will benefit from this
Mhm.
because if you can land an early Kale, right, you've already got your 2-star Kaisa,
Yeah.
then you can walk into a Valkyrie already at
Right.
level 5
Mhm.
or 6 because I'm assuming most of the value you'll actually see at level 6 with 7 units.
Yeah.
But like you said, but in the end, you never know what you're gonna roll into, and
Right.
this again is gonna give teams better synergies earlier on, which will then probably decrease the game time,
Yep.
which they've got to do. I think
Yes.
they're still a little too long,
Yes.
especially for a mobile game.
Mhm.
The medium legends can go very long.
Yes.
If
Yep.
if only I've actually had a couple of medium legends games go quicker than usual, but when 2 people are kind of dominating a lobby, those
Mhm.
2 will kind of go at it for a really long time. And eventually you just kind of like get over the fact that your legend is so big and
Right.
you want to just get over to the next game.
Mhm.
But other than that, I think that this force of nature is going to potentially reward hyper rollers way more than the other ones, because if you can get level 3 Caitlyn, right? Get to
Right.
level 5, put the Force of Nature in, put your Jhin in, and then
True.
you can also maybe put Ashe in and get your 3 snipers in there. I don't know. That's not min-maxing, but basically what I'm saying is you can roll knowing that when you get to level 5, you're really level 6,
Mhm.
right?
Right.
So for those comps, if you want to 3-star those units early on, this could be a really good potential to do that early.
Yeah.
Because you're given a little bit of leeway because you're getting a free level pretty much.
Right. Yeah, I think at the very least, and what I've liked about all of these galaxies is like it keeps the same game, even with the same units, and but it gives you a completely different experience. Lilac Nebula does not feel like the regular node galaxy. Neither does Nicoverse, neither does Medium Legends, and I'm imagining neither are either of these. And to me personally, that's fun. That feels exciting. I haven't felt like, oh my god, I got not Lilac Nebula. Guess the integrity of this ranked game has been thrown. I personally haven't felt that yet. So,
So I think you speak to another really, really great thing is what I like to kind of compare it to is you don't have to have a consistent medium for something to be competitive, right?
mhm.
Because there are events like the decathlon in the
Right.
Olympics that's literally hurdles, the javelin, totally different skill sets
Right.
across a wide variety of subjects,
Right.
right? So I think this is like a lesser version of that.
Right.
It's more,
Yeah,
it's closer
that's
to,
true.
and this is a game that's always rewarded consistency, and so it's more so now,
Well,
right?
yeah.
And that's why I think it still maintains a competitive integrity and even
Yes.
adds to it, because one, certain players are going to be better on certain maps, and the
Mhm.
RNG involved in getting the map can screw a player over, but in the end, it's testing all aspects of a TFT player's ability to look at the game
Yeah.
and analyze which options are better than the others, and that's why I like them so much. Just like you can't play every map in Valorant, or you can't play every character in Overwatch the same way, right? In TFT, when you start with a Lilac Galaxy, it's really easy to pick Jhin up first,
Right.
right? But then you're like, oh no, I have nothing to like help this Jhin out
Right.
for, a little bit,
Yeah.
right? And my Jhin needs items, and he's just kind of taking up space right now, because I speak on that from a personal experience, because I was super early level 2 Jhin,
Yeah.
and I got 4th, right? And I
Yeah.
thought, oh, Jin's so good,
Yep.
and the Irelia is the one I should have gotten to, and identifying, oh, if I played a little differently, I could have gotten, this, this, and that.
Yep.
But in these situations, it's kind of like when an English teacher gives you a prompt, right? It's up to you to decide what you write,
Right.
and I think that's what the most exciting thing is when
Yep.
it comes to these galaxies and their competitive potential.
Mhm. I mean, we see events like this in poker as well, where it's like,
Oh yeah, totally.
they
Yeah.
have like, oh, you need to play, 5-card stud, Hold'em,
Mhm.
Omaha,
7, yep.
Raz. That's one of my favorite ones. I don't remember how to play it, but I remember it being one of my favorite ones because it's kind of wacky. But yeah, it's like yeah, those are all. I mean, for what it's worth, maybe it's not the greatest metaphor because that's not like the competitive format for poker, but
Mhm.
it is still played for high stakes and is
Yeah, and
competitive in nature.
I don't know if they can do this, but if it is competitive, I think in every lobby, the first and last lobby should probably be normal at all times, and
Yeah.
then maybe the middle ones are always going to be a galaxy. I think they
That
do
would
need
be
to be
interesting if it was like
predictable.
maps almost. Yeah, where it was
Yeah,
like
exactly.
you need to have the skill set, but you'll know that it's happening. Or
Yeah,
like
like
be able to practice them because it's like
Mhm.
if there's one like what if there like if it was if and we'll talk about the TFT esports in after the break here, but like what if there's like a galaxy that's like a 1 in 100 chance to get it, and then it pops up and like, oh, I know how to play this one because I've played it because I played all these more games. It's like, yeah, you want to reward people for playing the game, but like I can't if it's just a roll the dice and hope I get it and hope I get enough reps on it. It's like that's kind of from the competitive standpoint that kind of feels bad, right? But
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see. But we have.
Yeah, I just think in the end, if it's like coming down to a tiebreaker map or something, or like a map 5, it should be a regular map and should be classic. But everything before that, I think, is up for consideration.
Well, it's also kind of hype if it's like from a viewer perspective, it's like, and the last map's a Lilac Nebula. That's how I cast, by the way, if you don't know.
Yep.
Oh my God! I cast TFT like the WWE, by the way. Hire me, right? Let's talk about the new champion. Xerath is a 5-cost Darkstar sorcerer. I'm not going to go through all the stats on him. You can check the link in the description for the patch notes. Pretty high attack speed, but his ability abyssal bombardment. Xerath transforms, summoning meteors to strike random foes in place of his normal attacks for 6, 8, or 45 seconds, depending on tier level. Meteors deal 300, 400, 2,500 magic damage upon impact, and if they kill their target, all adjacent enemies take 150, 200, 1,250 magic damage and are stunned for 1.5 seconds. That's a spicy meatball.
Yeah. That's a spicy meatball.
And I think he shoots out meatballs when he ults.
Oh my God, that would be such a good skin. Spaghetti meatball Xerath. Oh, because even in League of Legends, he has like this straight laser beam. It could totally be a noodle.
Oh man. Right. I know I've shown multiple skills here, so pick which one you want me to focus on and hire me. But yeah, that he I mean, this is interesting because we already started to see a little bit of Lux get used as like a secondary or even like sometimes a primary carry for like 6 Darkstars and Darkstar comps. Or Darkstar like sorcerer comps. So this is
items work really well on her.
Yeah, this is this is a very clear like beat you over the head with it carry for both sorcerers and Darkstar. So
yeah, which I think they needed.
Yeah, I do like it. I mean, even in like Star Guardian, like yes, you pretty much are forced to stack the Syndra and have 3-star Syndra, or else Star Guardian's like meh. I mean, you probably don't. I mean, this is in the like part star like sorcerer Star Guardian, not Star Guardian sorcerer, if that makes sense. Like full sort, like 6 orcs.
Yeah. It's weird to like go Star Guardians and not have all 6, but Xerath will definitely help.
Well, I think you usually have 4. Like, it depends on the build you go. Depends on how late you go.
It's just weird for me not have 6 Star Guardians for some reason, right?
No, so you get 6 Star Guardians. I thought you meant Sorks. Yes. You usually only go.
No. Yeah. So 6 Star Guardians. What's really cool is that a lot of people for the sorcerers would put Lux in anyway.
Right.
And now the Star Guardian Dark Star combo is totally legitimate, more so than it was, right? So now you don't have to put in like a random Shaco if you want. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You can put the Shaco in until you get yours out.
Exactly.
But definitely provides a little bit more flexibility for that Star Guardian sorcerer comp.
Yeah. Fits the puzzle piece fits right in. Okay, so that's gonna be fun. That's exciting. I like it. It's very fun. Okay. Boop, you want to go over some systems?
We're making it more difficult to purposely lost streak / open fort, as it will now risk being eliminated before stage 4/7. Oh, that's so funny. I was already doing that. I didn't even need to open fort. We still think lost streaking should still be a strategy and especially a fallback for unlucky early shop rolls or slow compositions. But they should be actively trying to lose by small margins rather than happily full-on open forting. I haven't seen a ton of open forting.
Skara is the one that does that a lot.
He was the one that came up with it, I think.
I mean, I certainly learned it from him.
Win and loss streaks are going from 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3 gold to 2. 2, 3 loss streak is going to give you 1 gold. 4 will give you 2, and a 5 now will give you 3. So you're going to have to lose 5 times in a row to get max economy off that. Base damage per stage going from 0, 3, 4, 5, 10, 15, 20 to 0, 0, 1, 2, 5, 10, 15. Early game. not going to be taking as much base damage.
Mhm.
Total damage based on the number of surviving units going to be changed as well from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 to 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11. So once you get to 5th level, it goes up by 1.
Yep.
Each time. Introduce new carousel variations. Keep an eye out.
Ooh, new carousel variations. That's interesting. I'm hoping it's not the all defensive item one coming back in more, but I'm interested to see what other ones there are, because it's like I've seen pretty much all of the single item ones. I've seen all Warmog's armors. I've seen like swords and tiers. I'm interested to see, so I will keep an eye out on that one. Those can be fun.
Well, I wonder if like one will be like all Morellos and red buff.
Oh, that would be
Or
interesting.
something like Bloodthirster and Hextech,
Yeah,
or like Deathcap and Morellos
that makes
as
sense.
like the only items. That's
Although,
kind of like what I'm
again,
thinking.
yeah, though ones like that, I guess it's similar to. I think Hextech, or sorry, I think Gunblades and Bloodthirsters make sense. I think Morellos and Red Buff combo makes sense, but like Morello and Deathcap is one that is almost, I think, because again, we talked about it with the all defensive item one. It's like you want to be able to play around what you're given, right? But like if you are committed to a physical damage comp and you get a Morello, like if you are playing the Blade Master comp and you get a Morello, that's like a useless item. Whereas the inverse is like if I'm playing a Sorcerer comp, that's the best item I could get. And those two things are very disparate, and you're not able to really play around it because at some point you have to lock into a comp, right?
Yep.
So
I'd love to see an all rapid fire cannon carousel.
that would be an interesting one.
Hilarious.
Yeah.
Because I think you could do RFC/Hurricane.
Yeah.
Just fine. But I think that's kind of that's where I would assume they're going.
Right.
But we'll see.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. So I hope it's like a mix between like there can be a theme, but like do one for each type of like do one for AD, one for AP. I think
that's why Morello's red buff is
yeah,
so
Morello's red buff would work. Death Cap and Death Blade would be an interesting one.
Oh yeah.
Totally. That could be interesting. Okay. They could do one where all actually I think it already exists. I think I've seen it on stream where they're all double items. So like 2 swords, 2 rods, 2 vests, 2 I think I've seen that before. But okay, traits. We've got new new levels of traits. We've got 9 Blade Master, which now which gives 100% chance to proc. 9 Dark Star gives 45 attack damage and spell power. 6 Infiltrator gives 125 bonus attack speed. 6 Protector gives 45% max health shield. 9 Rebels, 350 shield and 15% damage per rebel. 8 Sorcerer gives 125 spell power to team. Those were all new. Celestial Heal is going from 15, 30, 60% to 15, 40, 65%. Notably, that is different than what Mort did in his patch rundown. He said it was going to be 75, and then between then, which I think was Sunday, and now, which is Tuesday, they dropped it back down. So if you're going off of the patch rundown and you're listening to this now, just be wary. Cybernetic health and attack damage for 6 cybernetics is going from 880 down to 750 and 75. The mech pilot super mech health is going from 100% of pilot's health to 1800 plus 50% of the pilot's health. I'm assuming that's a nerf. And yes, the patch highlights confirms that, so I don't have to do math. Mech pilots, super mech damage is going from 400, 500, 600, 700, 900, 1500, 5000 to 400, 500, 600, 700, 800, 1200, 5000. So a slight nerf to a couple of the levels there. I think the most common, stronger ones, but not the early ones, which is nice. Mercenary has now added visualization to indicate purchased mercenary upgrades. That's a big thumbs up for me. 4 space pirate item drop chance has gone from 15 up to 20%. Sorcerer spell power going from 20, 40, 80 to 20, 45, 80. So 4 Sorks getting a buff there.
Just a little itty bitty one.
Little tiny buff. We've got a lot to talk about, so maybe we'll kind of do an overall thing afterwards. But Boop, you want to do these? Do tier 1 and tier 2 champions.
All right. Tier 1 champions. Caitlyn Ace in the Hole damage. The dirtiest sounding name in Ultimate League of Legends. 700, 1,000, 1,800, 750, 1,500, 3,000. So that's a 500 damage buff on level 2.
Yep.
And a 1,200 damage buff at level 3.
That's big.
Tier 1. Yep.
Yeah.
Zaya Deadly Plumage. That's a funny combo of words as well. Attack speed buff, 75%, 100, 150 to 100, 125, 150. So that tier 2 getting buff. Zoe stun duration 2, 2.5, 3 to 2, 2.5, 4. And Zoe Sleepy Trouble Bubble damage 150, 225, 400 to 2, 275, 400. Tier 2 champions. Annie Extra Armor going from 35 to 40. Annie Galaxy Shield Blast Shield. 225, 300, 450. Weird numbers here. 270 to 270, 360, 540.
Wow, those are weird numbers.
Yeah, those are very exact.
Those
There's
are
probably a reason
by
for that.
9. They went from...
Yeah. Interesting.
Okay, that is
Darius
interesting.
mana, 0 to 70 to 0 to 60. Lucian attack damage going from 55 to 50. Thank goodness. Rakan Grand Entrance targeting. Attack target is going to furthest enemy within 3 hexes. The knockup is only going to hit 1. Rakan total mana now going from 150 to 100, but he's going to ult more often. Shen health going from 700 to 800, and Shen Futures Refuge dodge duration 2.5, 3, 4 to 2.5, 3, 5.
That's a pretty big nerf to Rakan, it seems. No longer AoE knockups? Seems
Well,
pretty...
it is within 3 hexes, so you can mess with that positioning and really target. Because a lot of people are setting up on that like front line, mid line, back line right now.
That's true. That's true.
He can target the mid line a little bit better, where a lot of people are putting their carries.
Mm-hmm.
So there's definitely a little bit more flexibility, but that feels like a nerf for sure.
Yeah, and in the highlights graphic it says adjustment, so I guess that's the
and also,
technical term for burf.
He is taking a buff on how much mana he uses for it. It's just 100 now.
Yeah.
So he should be able to whip around the map a little bit
Yeah,
easier.
it's true. But not AoE. Okay, tier 3 champions. Shaco attack damage is going from 55 down to 50. Shaco's deceive damage, which is a percentage of attack damage, is going from 250, 325, 400% to 300, 325, 350%. And Syndra's range is going from 660 to 890, which I'm assuming is just the whole map now. I don't actually know what those units mean, but it's much bigger, so I'm assuming that is at least another hex. I don't know. Tier 4 champions, Fizz health is going from 650 down to 600. Fizz attack speed is actually going up from 0.7 to 0.8. Jin's attack speed... Jinx's attack speed is going from 0.7 to 0.75.
Whoa! Sorry.
Massive. Soraka health is going from 650 to 700. Soraka wish healing is going from 350, 500, 2,000 to 375, 550, 20,000. Wow.
Oh, so they're getting a full heal.
I mean, was 2,000 not a full heal already? Wukong.
I wonder if that's a typo.
It is not a typo. What's the difference between? It could be 2 million. It doesn't matter, right? It's not like they overheal. Wukong cyclone damage is going from 250, 450, 2,000 to 300, 500, 4,000. So that is a lot of damage for a tier 3 Wukong, so go for it. Vel'Koz's Lifeform Disintegration Ray duration is going from 2.5 down to 2 seconds, and Vel'Koz will now cast more effectively on a smaller group of units. Or more efficiently on smaller groups of units. So I'm wondering, it says it casts more efficiently on a smaller group of units, so is it going to like start in one, like start closer to one end and then move like in a better way? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see because I don't know what that's pretty vague. And then the other question is, the duration has gone down by 0.5 seconds. Has the speed of it gone down? Like, or does it go faster in? I don't know. I'm curious because that kind of changes a lot. But it does say that he got a nerf, so I'm guessing it's bad. Okay, and then tier 5 champions, Aurelion Sol's health is going from 950 to 1100, and Aurelion Sol's armor is going from 30 up to 35.
A little bit of a revert on some nerfs he got when rebels were very good.
Makes sense. So, high level.
I'm sorry.
No, I'm usually G fueled up right now, but I have already been having trouble sleeping because I've ruined my sleep schedule because of Valorant, so I'm trying to not do that. Anything that jumps out to you as big in these hero changes?
I think what jumps out to me is what they wanted to be big, which was Soraka, which they put in their intro. The thing about Soraka is she's supposed to make the other Star Guardians a little tankier, technically, right? And give them enough time to get maybe a second cast off, and she's going to be more consistently able to actually do that. And 25 health is not anything to scoff at. An extra 50 health and then a full heal on the last level. It should make that a little bit better, as well as Mystics just a tad bit better too, because there's going to be, with those sorcerer buffs, Mystics might be an option just to have, kind of like they have been in the past with Karma and Soraka. That definitely stuck out at me. Wukong, it's nice to see getting some love because it's probably the 4-star that no one 3 stars. Right? Lucian getting a nerf is great, but what I really see is these tier 1 units, because usually when you read that last number, right, Caitlyn ace in the whole damage going from 700, 1000, 1800 to 750, 1500, 3000. That's when we're talking about 4-cost or 5-cost units, right? That last number is usually unattainable. But for these,
very attainable.
For Caitlyn especially, it's super attainable, right? So you're going to feel that buff. The problem with Caitlyn is not necessarily the damage; it's that she stops attacking when she does use Ace in the Hole. So you have to make sure that if Ace in the Hole goes off, I think it should kill the unit, right? You're giving up so much DPS by having that ultimate. Right. It needs to weigh out the other side. So if it's going to be an auto kill at level 3, I think that's great for Caitlyn, because everyone's dropping her in the sniper comp anyway. So this might give chrono snipers. You can get the chrono sniper with Caitlyn and Jhin instead of going celestial sniper. With the Jhin, some possibilities. So that's kind of what I'm thinking, is these tier 1 buffs are going to be buffs you feel.
Oh, absolutely.
So,
I mean, it's a fine line to walk, because if you have them be too strong, then all of a sudden we get egg roll again, and a lot of people didn't like that. I thought it was all right, but a lot of people don't like it. So definitely interesting. Overall, I think the biggest one for me, Rakan was kind of a big one, because I think it is more of it's a change, but I don't think it's necessarily a good one. I could be wrong for sure. And then Shaco getting a little bit of a tune down, I think, is really useful, because it's gonna, between Shaco and the mech getting a little bit of a nerf, like maybe just makes mech pilots not just the super best thing all the time. So definitely I like a lot of these changes. I think it's going to shake things up. I have a gut feeling that Star Guardian Sorcerers is going to be even better than it already was, but I could be wrong. We shall see. Okay. Items. Wait, did we just do item? No, we didn't.
No.
Items. Chalice of Favor now also grants mana to the holder.
That
That's
seems like an oversight.
really good. Well,
It's already giving you a lot of mana, I know, but
yeah, it's a
it's
lot.
when you own the item, I feel like it should affect you, right?
Well, because it
Outside
like
of
creates the aura of mana and it doesn't give it to. I don't know.
yeah,
I think
Crystal
this is going to be
Maiden
really
in-
good.
Crystal Maiden in Dota was kind of like that, where every auto attack gave her gave
Yeah.
units around her mana.
Yep.
'Cause she didn't have any mana,
Mhm.
so it was kind of like that. But this now is going to make it a viable item on way more people.
Yeah, I think it was already an all right item, and now I think this makes it a really, really good item. Especially, again, for the aforementioned Star Guardian Sorcerers. Deathblade starting stacks going from 2 down to 0. This was I think it started as when they put the item in the game.
Yep, it went from 0 to 3 to 2 to back to 0.
Yep, so we're back where we started. Deathblade attack damage per stacks is going from 15 up to 30, so a change, a burf, I guess. Because once you get those stacks, you're going to be even stronger. It's going to be harder to get them originally. Frozen Heart attack damage slow is going from 40% up to 50%. Rapid Fire Cannon bonus range is going from 100% to 200%. So you're getting a big buff there. Rapid Fire Cannon now displays a visual beam on attack when increasing the range of low-range champions. So now the melee champions get like a laser with Rapid Fire Cannon. That's pretty sweet.
Yay!
It's just a visual.
I love visual upgrades like that. Just in general,
they are great.
Like little things like having the unit stance, like that just adds so much personality to the game.
Yep. Shroud of Stillness width is going from 1 hex to 1.5 hexes. Yeah, that's nice. Tier of the Goddess mana going from 20 down to 15. All completed items are adjusted accordingly, so every single tier item is now worse. Zeke's Herald range is going from 2 hexes down to 1 hex, and the attack speed bonus for Zeke's Herald is going from 18% up to 30%. So it's going to provide a bigger attack speed bonus, but to fewer champs. So I think that's good because, I mean, people weren't really building Zeke's anyway. And when you were, it was like a struggle to get value off of it. Now you can actually get a good amount of value off of it for the unit you need it for.
Yep. Because a lot of the times, the other 2 units, you didn't even really need.
Yeah,
buff
you're
for.
just like, I'm like losing money if I don't
faster.
do it.
Yay, right? So.
Right. Yeah, and you'd have to like put them in a bad position to do that, et cetera, et cetera. So, all tier items getting nerfed. Okay, sure. I mean, I get it because there's a lot of like, Sona or and all these other like low mana champs that are, getting so much from like, or just like immediately casting from Seraphs and all these other like low mana champions. I get it, but man, that seems like a big nerf across the board for tier items.
Yeah, we'll see what it means for the meta at large. It definitely hurts any of those mana users, especially since it's like an across the board nerf. But that kind of just goes to show how effective those items were just in general and how they were overperforming other items.
Yep.
And when it comes to involving items in a game, you can't have dominant itemization like that.
Right.
And you want variety. And when
Mm-hmm.
it's like, oh, sorcerer should get tiers, right?
Right.
But when other people are doing it, just for, you know,
because it's a
the
fine
mana,
item,
not
yeah.
really anything else.
Yeah.
That's when you got to kind of look at it.
Yeah. Okay, so the rest are bug fixes and some mobile changes. You guys can take a look at those. The one thing I want to point out here is if you look at the mobile corner and about 2, 4, 6, 7 down, it says the UFO sprite was getting a little uppity, so we removed its star levels and loadouts. I just want to point out here, that's the wrong it's. That's says a little uppity, so we removed it is star levels and loadouts. Just pointing that out. Just wanted to make that clear and apparent that there's a typo in these patch notes. But besides that, you guys can take a look at those. And I'm probably going to get yelled at for that, aren't I? Or called out. But regardless, that's patch 10.8. Let us know what you guys think about it. And yeah.
I
had to do it.
I like a lot of these changes. I have to say, consistently, when I look at patch notes for some games I play, including League of Legends proper, I'm like, wait a second, does Urgot really need another buff, or are people just not playing
does
it
Urgot
right?
really need another skin?
Yeah, because I lose against Urgot every time, and I'm not sure. And you're telling me that's a personal problem, but I would have to say that a lot of the changes I see in this game are always informed. They feel informed, and they feel intentional, and that feels great. And you got to give props. I love Mort, man. No shill, but kinda.
But a little bit of a shill.
Yeah, but a little bit of a shill. It's just awesome to feel that way.
Yeah.
Right. To know too that if things I don't agree with are here, that I'm capable of having a conversation with the person in charge and learning why it is fair, or maybe learning why I was right.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. And that's great that this team is like that. Even with some of the most vocal people in the community, they try their best to continue having conversations, and that's wonderful, man.
Yeah, it is great. I'm trying to think if there was. I think there was maybe 1 or 2 instances where I was like, I don't know how I feel about this, and like I'm leaning towards not liking it. But I don't remember a time where we read the patch notes and was like, wow, this seems like a huge mistake. Granted, we're not game designers and balancers, but still, I mean, I don't know. Maybe we're just.
When they buffed Gnar for the 3rd time in a row, I think.
Yes. Just put it on Gnar. Yep.
Yeah, just put it on Gnar, which ended up being true.
You're right. That's true. We did not agree with the Gnar buff. The 3rd.
Yeah.
We might not have even agreed with the 2nd one. Maybe I did because I love Gnar, but. Man, I miss Gnar. I want like a. Is there like a mech Gnar skin in League of Legends?
So a lot. I remember I was watching Mort stream once, and apparently a lot of people said that they stopped playing because there weren't any Yordles. Like there wasn't a Yordle comp anymore. And I was like, good, right?
Good,
like
I
heard that,
filthy
and I was
cretins out of here.
Yeah, get those to the plebs out of my game. But like, I totally understand, right?
I want Gnar. I want more Gnar.
Gnar is an acceptable Yordle outside of TFT.
Yeah. I like Gnar. But those are the notes. If you want to check them out yourself, you can either find them on the website or check the link in the description. Let us know in the comments what you think about these patch notes. Are they off? Are they bad? Are they good? What do you think? Let us know. Of course, you can talk about them in the Discord, discord.me/Little Legends Podcast. But we're going to go on a quick break here, and when we return, we're going to be talking about TFT sports. We'll be right back. If you're looking for the best place to stay in touch with the community, go to discord.me/Little Legends Podcast, where we do game night, where we have all of the resources for the show, and where we keep the conversation going after it's done. So make sure you're joining discord.me/Little Legends Podcast. Welcome back from the break. Hope you enjoyed it. We are here again, back talking about the future of Teamfight Tactics competitive play. We got the announcement of Teamfight Tactics Galaxies Championship. I'm going to read through at least some of this really quickly here. So, this is brought to us by the LOL esports staff on April the 13th in the year 2020. Today, we're excited to announce the first global TFT tournament for TFT, the Teamfight Tactics Galaxies Championship, and share additional details on our vision for TFT esports. The Teamfight Tactics, the Galaxies Championship will showcase the highest level of play and feature competitors from all over the world battling for their part of a $200,000 prize. To support this, we're creating a clear path to the championship that will be globally accessible through both in-game ladder and online tournaments. Going forward, we plan to celebrate the conclusion of each set with a competitive global championship. We want to reward all of the players who dedicate their time to mastering TFT and provide a goal that exists beyond reaching the top of the ladder. So let's pause there. At a high level, huge thumbs up, perhaps 200,000 thumbs up. And so at a high level, that's great. And then also a little note here at the conclusion of each set, there's going to be a global championship. So it's kind of, you can kind of infer that, right? But there's just saying outright, the conclusion of each set, we're going to have a global championship. And since we have a new set, what is it, every 4-ish months? We're going to have 4 global championships a year, right? One a quarter.
I wonder, I would love to call it. So one of my favorite things about tennis is they have 4 major tournaments too. They call them Grand Slams.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that's also a baseball term.
Yep.
But
a Denny's term.
Yeah.
All right, we're done. Also, Denny's, if you want to sponsor us, please, Little Legends Podcast at gmail.com. We also have a deck ready for you.
Specifically, we've been waiting for
We've been waiting for the Denny's sponsorship for a while.
I would love for them to kind of like, I know they're called the Galaxies Championship, but like the majors or something like that. We got to get
a little more stylized, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I can see it. But I mean, also, the Teamfight Tactics Galaxies Championship is a little vanilla, but it's also very clear what it is.
Exactly.
Well,
it's going to be Teamfight Tactics set championship will be probably each one. But $200,000 prize pool 4 times a year is nothing to scoff at.
Yeah. I almost couldn't it just be 250,000 so that on the year it's $1 million? I mean,
no, Lev.
I mean, that's a lot of extra money, obviously, just to make it a round number. But
that's an extra $200,000. Just giving away, literally. So
well,
it's
not my money. That's. I mean,
we've been talking about incentive.
Yes.
Since episode 1.
Yes.
Right, and this is what that is. Yes, it's going to be very hard to get there. As it should be in any professional environment, right? Gaming or sports environment. But in the end, this is going somewhere, and the fact they've already planned 4 events and they know how the ladder is going to work. It seems like a lot of players did already know that this was happening. Due to I knew we kind of thought we knew about the ladder stuff because of K3's rant.
Right.
A little while back, but it's nice to see that it's actually happening. It's happening exactly when we thought it would, right after mobile comes out. Spectator client, they're not going to announce something like this unless spec client is close.
Right. Well, they did allude to it. Was it in this article?
There wasn't. I did see them alluding to.
I don't remember if it was this or if it was somewhere
proximity
else.
to release being closer than further away.
Yeah.
Which is going to be great because once that spec client comes, I know a ton of local tournaments and local organizers that are going to jump at the opportunity to run these things.
Oh, yeah.
Because one, a game like this, you can run like a 200-person tournament. Like that was like the thing about Hearthstone was you can get like $5 for 200 people, and that can be your prize pool, right? And I think TFT can be very similar. And another great thing about Hearthstone, especially like at its peak, were like the Tavern Hero qualifiers, where you just went to like a LAN center, and if you won that tournament, then you got a chance to make it into the Hearthstone proper circuit. And this allows all of that once we get the spectator mode, which will be really, really cool. So there's going to be options. I'm sure there are going to be wild cards and play-ins for the Galaxy Championships as well, along with invites with the ladder. There's a lot of different ways that they can do it, and all of them are going to be, I think all of them are great because it's here, right? We finally have incentive to grind. I can't help but think of Sphinx, who's been grinding the ladder ever since we have met him, and all he gets is just ladder cred, and he gets to be in the second lobby of Giant Slayer.
Right.
Like, awesome, that's great. But now it's like it all matters, right? Every
Right.
single one of those lobbies matters now. You're now going to incentivize innovation, which is something that we talked about a couple weeks ago, right? It's why are you going to innovate when you don't have to?
Right.
Right now, you're really going to have to start thinking about what is the best and how to beat the best. Because if someone's running that comp better than you, you're going to have to figure out how to beat it to rise up in the ladder, right? So, and that counterplay is going to be really, really cool. I'm so excited for just the first year competitive TFT, and of course, we'll be covering a lot of it.
Yeah.
Hopefully, fingers crossed, in some type of official capacity.
Ooh.
Hashtag Riot call us. But
Riot Games, if you could email Little Legends Podcast at you.
we have a deck.
We have a deck, right?
Yeah. I've got some tape. But yeah, this is great. Incentive. That's what we've needed since set 1. Right? We needed something in set 2. We never got it, and we're getting something big, it sounds like, for set 3. The only bummer is that there are some regions that aren't going to be represented. And this is kind of like a dry run, but in the end, this is more than they probably ever expected that they could like conceivably do and not make it like insane, right? Like the fact that this is here for a game that they like reactively made to catch a trend and it's maintained its popularity tenfold. The fact that we have something, and honestly, while it did feel stale, if you really think about the longevity of a game and an ecosystem, it hasn't been that long, and we have all this stuff to look forward to, and that's awesome.
Yeah, super awesome. I am so in terms of the regions, I'm wondering, like, does your account need to be that region? Do you have to like prove that you're from that region, or can you play, like, if I'm in NA, obviously I can play in the NA like qualifier tournaments, but can I make it an EU account and play on those as well? It's not because it's not like Hearthstone where like I would need to be grinding an account and having cards on that. I can just make a brand new account and play TFT just as well as anyone else on those. So
yeah, that actually ended up being a problem in Overwatch. Because a lot of Korean players would go to like SEA and some of the smaller regions and just dominate. And so that's something that they definitely need to think about. But that would be a really big oversight, because I think it should just be where your region of maybe citizenship is, or not citizenship, of origin. But then that excludes like certain people, and I don't like that.
It excludes people, and then also like I see this as less of a like I see it as less of a like World Cup or Olympics type of thing, where it's like I'm representing North America because I won the North American Championship. It's like, no, this is just one of the qualifiers, and I happen to win that one. And like for Magic, it's like
we can bring tennis back into that. That's how it works, right? Yes, Serena Williams is from America, but in the end, it's
she won the French Grand Slam or whatever. Like it doesn't matter.
Yeah, exactly. Like and in Hearthstone, right? The circuit will bring you to China sometimes, and a European player will.
You go to whatever. You just go to whatever one. And I think it's close. Because yes, it's like, okay, well, the Korea players might go to SEA and dominate that region, but like if that's the case, then we're saying that the SEA players are not as good, and that means that there's going to be some not as good of players that got into the qualifier or that got into the championship because of where they are, not because of how good they are. I mean,
yeah, and I think we should at least give the SEA folks, that is the major region I think that is missing here.
Yeah.
The SEA folks in Australia to a chance to compete, right? Because they could conceivably compete in the Korean and Japanese tournaments. Just based off of where they are. But I don't know, man. It's just like it would suck to just be like, stinks that I was born in Australia and I love TFT so much.
Yeah,
I'll just wait till the next set.
Yeah,
right. I hope they give them an opportunity. If not, I like understand it, but it would still kind of suck for them.
I kind of see it. If this was like the World Cup or like something like that, where it's like you're coming in and you're Team America, okay, that makes sense. But this is just like, it just happens to be the North America final. It's going to take place in North America times that are convenient to that.
Yeah, is
And
it?
that's the only thing about North America
Mhm,
that matters, right?
mhm. Is it like USA Hockey, or is it just where you are, right? Where
Honestly,
the
it's
like
not
where
even
the
where
event
you are.
is,
It's
right?
like this is the time, the actual time for the tournament is going to be based around weekend day times for North America. That like, and like anyone can play, and if you want to be up at 3 a.m. your time, go right ahead. But and then like, you know, the Chinese qualifier is going to be at weekend day times for that. So like I think like, without knowing more on it, like just let anyone play in whatever one they want. It's just the times are based on like Teamfight Tactics North America final is just based on the time zones essentially.
Yeah, and I
Um,
wonder, in terms of like broadcast capabilities, if this is gonna kind of run like some other games, like Overwatch, where they kind of give other production teams and other people opportunities to run these broadcasts. For example, like a company called Broadcast GG ran South American Contenders.
right.
So I wonder if
I
there's
was
going to be
gonna say,
opportunities for people like us to potentially cover Japan and Brazil and
right.
Latin America, because I got my start in esports by covering Brazil and Latin America, and I have felt very connected to that region ever since then. They adopted me, and I love them, right? And they're the most passionate fans in the world, in my opinion. And
You've never
I
been to
would love,
Buffalo, New York, sir.
and I would love to give these regions an opportunity to be highlighted, right?
Right.
Because, well, Brazil, I think, has enough esports cred where people kind of know Brazilians in Counter Strike and yeah, other games. It's like
Every
there's an
mobile game.
ecosystem in Brazil, right? But
Yeah.
like Latin America, Argentina has some amazing esports organizations.
Yeah.
One of
Look
the
up
most well known
Garena
is
Free
called
Fire.
one is called Xerath Gaming, which is was another team called Karma, and they were undefeated in Overwatch for a couple seasons.
Mm-hmm.
So like there's so much talent all around the world that isn't highlighted, and I'm
Right.
so excited to highlight specifically. It's funny because people don't think about this. The fact that there's a Japan final is a really really big deal, and I think
Yeah.
the only reason why they are capable of having a regional there is because it's on mobile.
Right.
And then Latin America, Turkey, another really, interesting region. Like
Yeah.
that might not have ever gotten the opportunity to get any type of airtime.
Mm-hmm.
Now people are gonna bid potentially on showing these players off. And not only are these going to be the up and coming TFT players, the producers, the studios, and the casters will then
Yeah.
be the ones next in line too.
Mm-hmm.
And that just goes to show how much a competitive esports ecosystem doesn't just help the game. It
Right.
helps the community, the entire ecosystem.
Right.
It's not just about the players are going to get incentive, but it's also incentive to cover the game. It's also
Mm-hmm.
incentive to, not just cover as a caster, but cover as a journalist, right?
Right.
Cover it as someone else would cover Overwatch League,
Right.
right? It's always going to be niche. This game will always be niche, but in the end, this you already feel it,
Yeah.
right? The fact that it's here, you
Mm-hmm.
see just how many more opportunities there are,
Yeah.
and that's going to bring a lot more people into the game that might not necessarily have wanted to as a player.
Well, and I think the overarching message here, Boop, is
I'm
Riot Games.
available.
Riot Games. If you're looking for people to do the English rebroadcast,
Yeah, resume
send
upon
an email
request.
to littlelegendspodcast@gmail.com.
We have a deck.
We have a deck. That one I think actually might be true though. I think we actually do. We actually do. I'm sorry, Denny's. We don't actually have the Denny's deck. We actually might have the casting deck ready for actual real.
I would hope so. I've been doing it for 5 years. Right? I would hope I have some proof.
Just the the Jordan Peele sweating gif. But okay, so a quick rundown of the rest of this article here. So the Galaxies Championship will take place at the end of the set. We'll reveal additional details regarding timing later on this summer. 16 players from around the world will qualify through a region-specific system of ladders and tournaments to ensure that the best players from every region are represented. So that maybe leads us in one direction over the other, but I'm just going to wait and see. We've already talked about that part ad nauseum. Okay, for the TFT NA final. TFT NA final will take place mid-August over 2 days where 16 qualified competitors will vie to be one of the 2 players representing North America at the TFT Galaxies Championship. We believe the competitive season for TFT Galaxies will lay the foundation upon which TFT esports can grow in North America. The competitive season for the Galaxy set will consist of both ladder and organized play. We'll be using both methods to determine the 16 U.S. and or Canadian players that will qualify for for the available 16 seats of the NA final. Ladder, starting the first week of May and ending the last week of July, we'll be taking weekly snapshots of the ladder rankings with players earning points based on their rank. The top 10 point earners across all 12 weeks of competitive ladder weeks of competitive the top 10 point earners across all 12 weeks of competitive ladder I think I see another typo here of competitive ladder play will earn a seat at the NA final. We'll share the ladder qualification later in April or in late April. Organized play. This marks the launch of the beta of our circuit system in North. Why is there like a huge space there? Do you see that? Regardless of our beta of our circuit system in North America, we plan to have a number of online tournaments starting in May where players fight to earn points to qualify for 2 potential seats in the NA final. 4 additional seats will be available through partner qualification events that will take place in June and July. We'll share more information about these events before the end of the month, meaning April. While Teamfight Tactics is cross-platform on PC and mobile devices, qualification may be platform-specific at the discretion of the tournament organizers in our region. In addition to the TFT Galaxies Championship, we're going to take steps to create more opportunities for the top TFT players to grow the broader competitive ecosystem. First, we'll be releasing the TFT community competition guidelines next week to unlock organizers to create more opportunities for high-stakes competitive play. We're also, and this is important, we're also working on tools that will make it easier to broadcast and operate tournaments, and we'll hope to share details on the progress soon. There's a lot more yada, 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 et cetera, et cetera. Here it is.
Awesome. Awesome stuff.
All awesome stuff. So one thing that I was actually going to rant about, but I forgot that they actually mentioned here, was I absolutely hate how Hearthstone does their ladder qualifications. I think it feels awful. It's like only the literal last snapshot of the month matters for where your ranking is, and depending on where you fall, you get points based on that. Now,
and if you bought the right cards.
Well, I mean, see, I feel less about that because I come from Magic the Gathering where it's like I need to have a $300 deck to even play in the tournament. So that doesn't bother me as much, but it's probably an endemic problem. But I'm assuming that all the people at high level play already have everything. So, but we obviously don't have that problem in TFT. Now that still kind of matters, but they're taking weekly snapshots. So it's not like, okay, I ground out for a month and I like got top 1. I'm rank 1 ladder and I'm rank 1 on the ladder in the first week. Guess I can't play anymore. You know? Which just feels awful.
Yeah.
Magic the Gathering made systematic changes to their like ranking system years and years and years ago. Actually, coming probably close to 10 years ago, because they changed the way that like their competitive essentially points work, because you would it was like hard ELO, like chess ELO. So like if you have a higher ELO and you play against someone who has lower, you are gaining a fewer number of points when you beat them, and they're gaining a bigger number of points if they get the upset. So when you get to a certain threshold as a competitive player, you are essentially incentivized to not play because you are always risking losing way more than you would gain.
Yeah.
So you would just
and resetting all that progress,
resetting
right?
everything. Even though you're favored, it's like I'm not going to risk. I'm just using this for ease of math. I'm not going to risk 10 points to be able to get 1, right? Like that's just a bad bet to make. And you're not actually gaining anything. So this feels a lot better. It's like you're incentivized to play at least the beginnings or the end of every week, right? Because there's a snapshot. You want to get it. You want to get in and get high ranked at the end of the week for the snapshot, rather than like, well, what do you do if you're like top 25 first week in Hearthstone? Do you keep playing to try to get to top 10, and then if you lose and you're down to 500, like you just quit? Or do you sit on 25, see where you decay to, and then make a push in the last day? Like,
Well, I think there's an argument
bad.
to know when to cash out, right? That's part of understanding, but you're totally right. There should never be an incentivization to, in my opinion, to cash out, because you want people to play as much as possible. And the fact that
Well,
this is weekly it means that every week you'll have another opportunity to might actually get more people to participate in
yeah.
trying to get number one in ladder, and might have a higher diversity of players because of how this is set up. There's got to be a reason why people haven't done it like this in the past. I'm sure we'll figure that out. I can't think of them right now, but once those do come, I'm sure we'll talk like ad nauseum, like you like to say, at one time in this podcast.
I'm pretty sure I've said it a lot
about it, but as of right now, I think this is so awesome, and I hope people really appreciate the fact on how much we're being given based off of the history of development on this game and how quickly this has gone. While they've also been making LOR, Legends of Runeterra, Valorant is going coming out, and I know there's been a lot of cross team work going on there. So it's not like everyone working on TFT is only working on TFT.
Right.
I'm sure there is a core team that is, but a lot of those, especially art people, are probably working on a ton of different stuff. And the fact that we are getting this now, yes, I think it was exacerbated. The whole staleness was exacerbated on the fact that there's nothing for set 2. But remember, this is a game that they didn't expect to be this big, and they've given us $800,000 worth of cash and prizes, plus a weekly ladder, plus qualification opportunities. Because ladder play and tournament play are so different, you're actually giving both people an opportunity to do something. And we're gonna get to see the interaction of ladder versus tournament play. Because in every game, not just TFT, but every game, ladder players and professional players do very different things. And to varying degrees of success. And TFT is no different. And I'm really excited to see those two worlds clash, because in this game specifically, I think that is a little bit more interesting, that kind of dynamic between the two, than some other games. And I'm excited to see what ends up winning in the end. Is it going to be the big brain tournament players that understand that what's good on ladder is not going to be what people bring to tournaments, right? Kind of like when back in the day at Hearthstone, when these 3 decks are good, so you just brought the counters to the 3 most popular decks, right? Oh, this person, everyone's bringing aggro decks, I'm just going to bring 3 control decks, right? I'm really excited to see if people are like, if the tournament people are going in with that and be like, oh, everyone's running, pretty aggressive early game comps, I'm just going to wait for the late game or something. Or how ladder players do it, and see how much transitioning they do. Because some of those ladder players transition, like, I feel like every other turn. So that's really exciting for me.
I love the fact that, and again, maybe this is just because I come from Magic, I love the fact that we have the one-off event, because let's be honest, if I really wanted to qualify for this tournament, it's not going to be on ladder. I'm not going to put enough time into grinding the ladder. Even if I have a really good win rate, which, I mean, I don't, but even if I did, as the esports boomer who's doing these podcasts, I'm not going to have enough time, even at a very high win rate, to do that. But I can take a weekend. I can spike one of these events, and I've seen one of my favorite things. So I used to be, back in the day, for at my peak Magic the Gathering grinding, there was a group of us who were younger at the time. I know I'm old now, but used to be young, that were going to tournaments every week. We would go to we'd do every local event. We would, anything that happened within 8 hours, we'd be driving to every weekend. But then there were the old guard that were like the generation, in air quotes, of Magic players before us that we knew about, and they had kids now, they're getting older, which, I mean, they were actually probably younger than I am now, but they they were getting older, but they would, like, if there was a big event and it was like kind of close, like a 2-hour trip, like they would go and they would do super well because these guys know how to play. They're really, really good. They just don't have the time or even want to put all these hours into like the newest thing. It's like they have all this old legacy knowledge and they're super good, and they come and they can just spike an event. Like I remember, and this is a little bit inside magic here, but there's a guy in Buffalo that everyone knew about, but he would never, like, you'd never see him at tournaments because he just doesn't go. There's a pretty big tournament relatively locally. It was a PTQ back when PTQ, Pro Tour qualifier, just comes out of the woodwork, borrows a deck from some friends, and spikes the tournament because he's just the old school, like, good player, knows how to play, understands the game, doesn't even need to know what doesn't know what the meta game is like reading his opponent's cards, like in like round 6 when he's 5-0. Like, these are the types of things that, like, the tournament grinder, like, isn't like, they know all these things. They're prepping all these things. There's two types of players here, and I think a lot of Magic players understand that type of player a lot, and like physical card game players understand that, but that's something that I think we lost a lot of when we transitioned to digital card games with Hearthstone, because, like, obviously there's no, like, now there's old guard Hearthstone players, but they never had that, right? So I really like that we had that.
I think there's one of the coolest things is just tournaments in general are just like a bevy of opportunities of storylines, right? For example, we can even talk about Hearthstone in a positive light. VK Lion winning at BlizzCon.
No, we can't.
Right? When she won at BlizzCon, she went through the open bracket, right? And
I didn't actually know that.
And so, like, I might have lied just then, but there are stories
I don't know that,
right?
The opposite of that. Yeah, no, but
I'm pretty sure I'm right, but or like we've seen that in TFT.
Jay Shrita did that at
exactly.
Twitch Rivals.
TwitchCon.
TwitchCon. Yep.
And so what it does, just like the NCAA tournament,
yes.
If you're a basketball fan, you remember Florida Gulf Coast making it to the Sweet 16, right? You remember Wichita State making it to the Final Four, right? It's like these teams that should never have been there, right? Or, oh man, remember Butler versus Duke? And Gordon Hayward, that shot looked like it was going in from half court, and it didn't. But Butler is a school of what, like 8,000 people, probably has 0.10% the budget of Duke,
right?
But they were in the finals together, and that only happens in tournaments,
right?
And that's what I like about it. It gives opportunities for people, but I'm in it for the stories and the upsets. We all love pulling for the underdog, and when you see someone with seeding 128 in like the final 16, who are you going to be rooting for?
Right. Well, you get the best of both worlds, right? Because ladder is not going to facilitate that, because it's just the grind. It's just consistency, and it's just the grind. Where tournament, it's like sometimes you just have a good day and you effing spike it.
And some of these tournaments are going to be lands, I'm sure, at certain centers. And the fact that they're going to be there, they're going to have a better opportunity to perform in front of larger groups of people.
Well,
and there's definitely,
I don't know if they're going to be. They said online tournaments, so this might be
I'm assuming that some of those online tournaments will be run as lands for certain regions.
Gotcha. It's possible,
Yeah. And so, like, that kind of atmosphere is something that you can only get in that atmosphere, and is, I think, worth traveling for if you have the means.
And
so I'm just excited to see what happens, because there's tournament play, there's ladder play, we've got it all. Like, I made it to the semifinals of a Hearthstone tournament at rank 17. Right? Like, I also reverse swept a guy, and that was like one of the greatest achievements of my life at the time.
More or less than beating one of the Marvel vs. Capcom developers with Shimagorath.
Probably less, actually, less than that. But the moral of this, it was funny because, like, I remember he was like looking around, and my friend who actually ended up winning, he was like, "Yeah, I think these people are going to be the final four," and he like purposely didn't point to me. And he was the one that I reverse swept and eliminated from the tournament, because I went through the losers bracket the whole time.
Nice.
And so, like, my individual experience like that, to like go through the losers bracket, only happened because I signed up for a tournament, and now I talk about that story. And that's going to be very different than the ladder experience. But some people love that grind, right?
Yeah.
And so
It's the best
for
of both
people
worlds.
like, Crowin and Sphinx who love the grind on the ladder, they might focus their efforts on that. Other
Right.
people might say, you know what, I'm going to gamble a little bit more, know these strategies and develop and kind of put everything into these circuit points instead.
Yeah. So I'm also wondering, is the weekly snapshot, does the snapshot reset something? Like, is
I have
it?
no idea.
Well, so I'm thinking out loud here, because one of the so in I've actually run a like league / circuits type of event for Magic the Gathering many years ago in a store, where it was like you would, at certain events, like certain like big tier events at the store, you would get like points towards this league, and then the top 16 would have one tournament to play for a bunch of money, essentially, was what it was. And one, which is a really cool thing, people liked it. It gets people coming to the store, gets people playing more of these events, which is awesome, et cetera, et cetera. There's buzz around it, all that good stuff. The one downside is it obviously it rewards people who are playing more, which is what you want, but it also, maybe not proportionally, but it decentivizes people who are behind already. So it's like, what if you just missed the first week? Well, if Crowin has played 100 games in the first week, I'm exaggerating, I look at that score and it's like, oh wow, Crowin has 150 points right now. How many do I get to win? 6? Okay, guess I'm not playing at all, because I can't catch up to that, right? So I'm wondering, is it like the snapshot happens and then like maybe you have to be like diamond or something, and then like you reset back down, like the pro points or whatever resets back down every week. So it's like, yes, I don't know. I'm just wondering, because it's like that's a consideration. Maybe they don't maybe that doesn't matter. Maybe that's what the tournaments are for, which I do like, because it's like, oh, well, I'm not going to get the ladder, but I can still win one of these tournaments if I want. The whole poker thing. Hey, when it's a tournament, you just need a chip and a chair, and you can win it all. Chris Moneymaker 2003, a chip and a chair, a banker from I don't even remember where he's from, like Tennessee or something. Texas.
I remember that. Man, I totally remember that. Biggest pot in World Series of Poker history.
Yeah.
The guy with the cowboy hat was like at the final table still. Like
Doyle Bronson?
Yeah.
Oh, believe me, I was so into poker in those first years when it was on ESPN.
And Annie Duke became the first
Duke.
ever woman to win a bracelet.
Yep.
in a
Phil
main poker event.
Hellmuth, Daniel Negreanu, Phil Ivey. I love the Phil Ivey just like blank stare. And I know this doesn't really play out in podcast world, but the YouTube viewers just the stare, just the no. I love it. Dan Harrington, like this. Man, I love poker. It's one of my favorite things. I actually got really into poker like probably like 4 years ago. But it sucks because I can't play legally in the U.S. I'm not gonna get into that argument or anything. We're talking about TFT here, and we'll wrap it up here, because I think we're both excited, and like we could probably talk for another 3 hours about this, but we're already pushing 2 hours for this episode. So we're going to save some for future episodes as we get more information, which it looks like, I mean, they said before the end of the month, we've only got 2 more weeks in this month. So we're going to be getting some more information very soon on TFT Esports, but we'll cut it there, and we'll talk more about this in the coming weeks. Boop. It's exciting times for TFT, man. We got there, Boop. We finally got there where we're gonna be seeing some TFT esports for real.
I'm stoked.
For
and
realsies.
Whether you like it or not, we will be covering it in some capacity,
Yes.
whether it be in a scuff stream or in an official capacity. We're going to do our best to show all of you exactly what the TFT competitive community can offer, because it's a lot. And I'm really excited just to be on this wave with all y'all. We're about to crest, and we got to stand up on our surfboard soon, but we're all getting ready. The waves are coming, and that's really exciting.
The waves are a coming. Boop, where can people find you on the internet when you're not here talking about TFT sports?
Twitter.com/Booposaurus at Booposaurus Rex. I might have, like, I don't know. I've been sick for the last 2.5 weeks, so we'll see when that stream comes online. Uh, it's mythical at this point, but it will be happening. So eventually
Yes.
it'll be twitch.tv/BooposaurusRun. And one thing I wanted to talk about before we left is there's going to be a really awesome tournament this weekend.
Yes.
And I don't know if you saw, but a company called AFK Arena, we're unaffiliated. I'm doing this just as kind of like a I want people to know about it thing.
Yeah.
They're doing a charity event for COVID. So I kind of wanted to talk about that just for a second so everyone here is aware of it. It's called Raise or Riot TFT Galaxy Stars. It's going to be a 10,000 euro prize pool, and it's going to be donated to a charity of the winner's choice.
Ooh.
There's going to be 32 streamers in about 10 countries, and it's going to be on the 18th of April, so in 4 days.
Oh, wow.
It is partnered, so they've definitely done their research by Soft Giving, and they're fundraising for CARE's coronavirus appeal. The event will involve a best of 3 group stage, where the top 2 from each group, based on points, will progress to a best of 2 finals. Between each group stage, there'll be a 5-minute fundraising window in which we would like to invite all our viewers to donate, and doing so will enter them into a giveaway. Prizes will include peripherals and a PC based on how much is raised. The goal for the event is for participants to have fun and compete while simultaneously entertaining their viewers stuck at home and raising money to combat COVID-19. Riot will be supporting the event and promoting it, and it's going to be awesome for a good cause, and a chance to win some PC peripherals is going to be absolutely amazing. This is also something that we would love to provide some coverage for, just in general. But Raise a Riot, TFT Galaxy Stars, look it up on Twitter. AFK Arena is going to be the group that's going to give you the information, and we'll update you guys on the Discord on what this is. But if you are capable, it would be wonderful if you can participate and donate. And if not, if you can't donate, it'd be really great if you put your eyes on the stream so it gets a little bit of traction on the main page, because this is for a great cause, and we'd love for as much donations as possible, because we're in a weird time right now.
Yeah.
And this will help a lot of people out of this weird and hectic time. And I'm really excited for it.
Yeah.
32 streamers in 10 plus countries. It's an actual worldwide event. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah. We're going to be socially distanced together. It's going to be awesome. So definitely make sure you check that out. Boop, I'm sure you're going to be posting more details in the Discord. You can find it discord.me/Little Legends Podcast. You can find me in that Discord server. You can also find me on Twitter, twitter.com/the_Blevins. That's going to be it, guys and gals. Thank you so much for listening and watching. We'll see you guys next week, and we'll be talking more about Teamfight Tactics. We'll see you then.